All the young boys and girls have made my job very easy. Just going to speak of the important aspects of how AI algorithms can help you to predict hypoglycemia. So I appreciate and my gratitude towards the organizers and being a very good part of this symposium, early morning symposium. Alka, Vinay, and Balaji have done a wonderful job. The hypoglycemia is a real big. You have to experience it, and you ask your patient, "What was your experience of hypoglycemia?" The only one word definition is near death. अभी लगता है मर गया, सब खत्म हो गया. But we have to have some India-based specific. Friends, we have to see why you should treat hypoglycemia. You have done it very nicely. That reduce mortality, hospitalization, and of cardiovascular. Early prediction enables just-in-time self-treatment and with the growing adoption of CGM adaptation. I really request all of you to be in touch with all the engineering colleges and electronic digital institutes in your area where you can develop something called as a hypoband. It's a wristwatch enabled temperature sensor. Can be a good project. It costs 50-100 rupees, but you have thousands of diabetic patients. But the worst thing for any diabetic, apart from the immediate risk, death in bed, long-term consequences, is the last word, defensive eating. People go on eating with the fear of hypoglycemia. And that is really a very big problem to convince them that your diabetes will be controlled without hypoglycemia and adjust the dose. And please monitor your patient's cognition. आपको लगता होगा आप पेपर पेशेंट मॉनिटर करते हैं, suddenly you find somebody who is defocused, especially elderly gentleman between the age of 60, 70, 75. If there is any change in personality, there is a recent onset depression, or the relatives may say that this person is behaving very oddly, bipolar type of behavior. That is one indication that the patient is getting recurrent hypoglycemia and there is no hypoglycemia awareness of it. So I'm not going to bore with these subjects. These words, thought horizon, CGM models, random forest, XGBoot are the technology. If you want to have long horizon or weekly or severe risk, then I have got still more complicated things called as a logistic and Cox models. And there are explainability, that is called as a STAP. The surface drivers like time below range, recent lows in dose, renal function, exercise, and today morning only there were some very good articles on Snap and Eat, how to get the carb count done. All these things that will help you. We don't want to go to the technical side of it. It is not Greek, Roman, and Latin for us. What we should do, we try to understand the complex procedure if you can, otherwise forget about it. What is in your hand? You have got in your hand is either a blood glucose monitoring 7-point chart of your patient or a CGMS. Can we think out of the box? Can add some other parameters. For example, if you have got a temperature detector, any watch which detects temperature, if the temperature goes down, it is a cold sweat, the indicator of hypoglycemia. Then there can be tremor detectors. There are certain equipments which are attached to the wristwatch with a fingertip on it. It detects the tremors as well. So cold sweat and tremors and temperature loss, these are the indirect indicators of hypoglycemia which can be detected with sophisticated technology. So what else we have got in hand? CM monitoring, 5 to 10, 15 minutes sampling, electronic health records and claims, and factors like BMI. Low BMI people, more hypoglycemia. Demographics, HbA1c, renal function. In renal function, don't rely upon only creatinine. Always go for GGM. And medicines, what are the medicine combinations? Somebody is taking steroid for a skin condition, very likely to go to hypo. And there are a lot of variables and the patient's behavior. Heart rate is possible, steps are possible, sleep monitoring possible. And if you collect this data together, even in a simple Excel format, that with your CGMS, just put into Perplexity or Google, your Chat GPT, give some idea of predictability of hypoglycemia. So it need not to be that complicated. So I got a data from CGM, food logging, heart rate monitor. These are the learning models which we need not know the details of it. It is like driving a car. You should know how to drive the car and need not go into the practical things. And these are the personalized, actionable insights. How they are delivered with app or delivered with the test. What you do, food logging, activity, body weight, heart rate, CGM, and at the end, you will get, with the help of your weight and time in range, you will get some idea regarding a possibility of hypoglycemia. Manoj is here all the time with the latest types of CGM equipment, yes, and we saw what Vijay was also telling, that the repeated night alarms. We have to find out a balance, and the mechanism need not be so complex. We don't want to know either say kya banta hai. What is most important, whether the patient gets the proper alarm or not. So this is something absolutely exciting. Enabling cameras to visualize your world. Please take down the name of this website. This is called as the Pushpak AI. Pushpak AI kya karta hai? If you have got a Pushpak AI enabled camera, then it analyzes your emotions. Where you are excited, where you are bored, or whether you are yawning, sleeping. And that is one thing which is a worth point of research. So it does emotion analysis, does face detection, it does expression analysis, and it does expression. So there are 7 expressions, basic expressions, which can be added on to, which will point towards hypoglycemia. Now we have got short-term prediction models, CGM, explainable machine learning shows recent time below range. The downward slope, you get a slope down. That means the glucose is going down. The person gets an idea that he is likely to go into hypoglycemia. And there are deep LSTM models, but they show cross-population generalization, supporting use, and then our penetration of CGM should increase in Indian population. Nowadays, we are concentrating only on the urban population. It should go to more and more rural or semi-rural people. And if you want to predict a severe long-term, severe hypoglycemia risk, there are risk models which use the CGM summaries. Then there are EHR-based machine language in type 2 flags. So what is the biggest combination? Renal dysfunction, insulin therapy, sulfonylureas, diabetes duration, DOD. In every patient's name, the second point should come before the age, is duration of diabetes. The duration of diabetes more than 10 years, the patient himself is a double diabetologist. We try to teach you also. So duration of diabetes is another important factor for hypoglycemia, HbA1c, and there are a lot of semi-supervised approaches. Leverages large unlabeled EHR to stabilize sulfonylurea and hypoglycemia high risk. My request to all of you is keep data in any form. Let it be on the pictures taken of your patients of your in a handwritten format. That will help you, because there are nowadays very good quality of cameras which will pick up the handwriting and give it to a near numerical form. So what are the evidences? Manoj has been part of this RSSD expert consciousness. Indian type 2 cohorts are there, and there are a lot of South Asian CGM and variable data sets which are available. One of the example is ultra-human rings, which even detect pulse and the sleep pattern. So what are the problems with model design choices? Data reality has to be there, and we should feature the sets to include percentage time below range in 24 to 72 hours. Nocturnal lows, very important. Rate of change. One of my type 1 wants to play football between 4 to 5. He says, come whatever it may be, I will eat complex carbohydrate at 3 o'clock and see my graph. People are very smart. They learn by themselves. They teach us quite good things. Presence of low eGFR, anemia, meal timings, these are very important points, and we should be like what Vijay was saying, that it is to be totally individualized. That individualization of the therapy is possible, and the thresholds also you can be changed if it is less than 70 milligram, for changes for pediatric and pregnancy, and we have got even a bilingual notification. Not only in English, there can be in multiple local languages. Last 2-3 points is of validation and reporting, what we demand. There should not be any discrimination. The area under the curve for the rare hypoglycemic episodes and calibration. So these are the early warning utilities, lead time, and alerts per event prevented. These are very important parameters. Should have clinical safety for this algorithm. False negative rate should be very low, and the subgroup fairness should be there. In AI, there are only three problems. One is black box, another hallucination, and third is fairness. The fairness can be affected with age, sex, both young as well as old, insulin and plus minus sulfonylurea users, and patients with CMEs. And we need external validation on many Indian sites. Typical group, urban or tribal, sensor bands, and professional versus real-time CGMS and decision curve analysis. Again, I am telling you, if you have got an Airtel connection, go for Perplexity Pro. Otherwise, it will cost you 17,000 rupees, but it is free with that. To put any CGM which you have got into Perplexity Pro, and you will get a very good insight about it. These are the implementation pathways in India. We have to start with risk stratification group, then integrate with your clinical decision support system, and we must make all these tall people who are selling CGMS at 5,000 and 10,000 rupees. Should insist that they should reduce the cost, then only the use will increase. So friends, last few comments from me. Data is the currency, the petrol of our, got it, use it. Blood glucose patterns, diet patterns, even take a picture and you will get a carb count. Your exercise schedule, your heart rate variability, your glucose variability, skin temperature sensing, or even the blood pressure, rough estimates of pulse pressure. That will also give you an idea. Any fluctuation of pulse in the night will give you a clue that the patient is having nocturnal hypoglycemia. And there are many Indian jugaads that are available. This was one glucometer which I had, but nowadays they have stopped manufacturing it. It was a talking glucometer. And these are the color-coded glucometers which you have. A patient immediately comes to know whether it is low, whether it is in range or it is out of range. These are very simple things which can make a change in life. There can be something like this. You stand in front of a mirror and it will not only give your total height, weight, body content, muscle mass, your glucose also, if you have got a proper sensor attached. There are so many research agendas and cautions which we should have prospective Indian trials, should have studied special groups. They are there in RSSDI. And in the regulatory and ethics, have bias audits, data privacy, and post-deployment monitoring. AI augments, not replaces clinical judgment. Please remember. Your clinical judgment is at number one. AI is just an augmented thing for it. There are some sort select references. You can be in touch for all the references. The question is from where to learn all this. From where to learn all simple digital technology and AI tricks. So this is our college called as the Indian College of Artificial Intelligence. It doesn't have any building. It is a virtual college. And we have got a conference coming up in November. That November event, it will tell you, it will unfold your medicine of 5 years ahead. And take it from me. Right now, I am running 70. The medicine which we are going to practice after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years and 10 years is going to be totally different. People are not going to come with your papers, files, कुछ नहीं, QR code लेके आएंगे, आपका data project करेंगे. There may be a virtual screen in front of you on which you can see all. So please become members of our organization. It is a non-profit organization, Doctors AI. Attend this event in Bengaluru. It is a very good, exciting event. And if you have got something to present, see, there are only two ways in which you can progress science. Is ask a question. Ask any idiotic question. Or prove a hypothesis. Raise a hypothesis. Either raise, prove or defute it. Either side of the thing. And there is a fantastic audience. Will be getting really good exposure to different kind of stalwarts in this. So thank you very much for your patient listening.